What is the dumbest thing you've ever received hate for? For talking to a guy I met on a dating site not knowing he was in a relationship. Dude was messaging me on a dating app. We met up and he seemed cool. We hung out once. He wasn't my type and we parted on good terms, and then his fiancé called me. I said I was sorry. I had no idea. I stopped talking to the guy instantly, but I still faced 6-8 months of harassments from this woman and her friends. Threats of rape. I got told I wouldn't live to see my next birthday. I got told I was fat and a slut. They called me non-stop. They said that they knew where I lived, where I went to uni. I even got threats on my blog that I had set up for uni. It was intense. I ended up getting the police involved. From what I know, she stayed with him, but somehow I was in the wrong even though I had no idea she existed. He did nothing wrong. It was all ridiculous. Scoring good marks in an exam. Having a very old, sick cat put to sleep instead of just letting her slowly die. She had stopped eating and wouldn't move. She just sat in the same spot dying. I took her to THR vet and we wound up euthanizing her. Apparently I am an evil bitch for not just letting her starve herself to death. She was 15 years old. For telling someone that I'm allergic to a certain food. I extremely allergic to it. Painted my nursery with an under the sea theme and then was told the blue would make my daughter a lesbian. Reading too much. My mom used to get mad at me, an elementary school kid, for going to the library and getting a big stack of books and reading through them all in a day. And mean, she was pissed. She'd kick me out to go play and I would just sit outside in the grass for a few hours and wait to go back to reading. Lol. During my early days of the internet, there was a post on a LiveJournal page about some woman who still breastfed her kid until he was like 5. I commented on it saying I didn't even know that was possible, and boy did people come at me calling me a troll just trying to rile people up, saying it was offensive. Like, dude, I was just 15 and honestly had no idea it was possible to breastfeed a child for that long. For being too polite. For having lunch with my grandma on my lunch break at work. Not joking. I serve a wide area of my state, and when I'm in her part of the state, which was historically underserved by the person in my position before I eat lunch with her during my lunch break. The other administrators I work with in parts of the state that I serve are now complaining that the only reason that part of the state is getting more attention, i.e. equal treatment to them rather than being neglected, is because I like to have lunch with my grandmother. Being black and enjoying heavy metal. For making hot chocolate last year's Christmas, some lady was criticizing me for being an adult making hot chocolate, saying that's for children. I was having a nice romantic Christmas dinner with my fiance, so I wanted to make a Dutch hot chocolate with a chocolate liqueur with topping. I just looked at her like she was crazy. This happened at a store. I was telling my fiance what we needed to make dinner and dessert, and the lady was eavesdropping. I needed the hot cocoa so we could have cookies and cocoa and watch some Christmas movies together. I do the Reddit thing. Not me, but my dad. So my dad used to have trouble remembering names, so he would call people boss. Some dude went up to him one day and got really mad at this nickname. When my dad asks why, the dude no joke says, "Boss backwards means sorry son of a bitch," and that is the most pathetic cry for attention I've ever heard. This was in a bar, so maybe the dude was drunk, but still that was a hilarious story. As a former people pleaser, making my own life choices instead of following others' push advice. Life choices that only concern me. I don't drink alcohol, not preachy about it. I just don't like the taste or the effect. You would think I was a mass murderer when declining, politely, a drink. I don't care if everyone else is drinking and think I'm kind of handy as a designated driver. Being a boy and liking horse riding. It's a frickin' hobby, people. When my son was a baby, his father's cousin threatened to kill my son. She said a lot of mean and hateful things about me and my son. Shortly after, his other cousin's girlfriend did the same thing. All because my boyfriend's family were demanding a DNA test. I just said, why should I have to? Did your cousin's girlfriend do a DNA test? Did your brother's girlfriends do a DNA test? Apparently that meant I was talking bad about children and we both deserved to be killed. Later that week I moved out and switched jobs. Afterwards, my boyfriend's sister texted me telling me she was going to take my son. She didn't even ask. She just said I'm going to pick him up for a few hours. When I said he's not allowed near the cousin and the cousin's girlfriend, she flipped out saying she will take my son anywhere that she wants and there's nothing I can do about it. I blocked that entire family and 3 years later they still say I talked bad about kids when not once did I say anything bad about a child. My really good memory. Like, people don't believe it so much that they think I lie and make up things. Not wanting to talk to a family member who tried to kill me. My sibling thinks that I should be more appreciative of her and should apologize for my mental illnesses being a burden to her. This woman tried murdering me. I'm not going to speak to her after she almost shut me up for eternity. I consider any sympathy she could have received as off the table after showing how little she values my life. Thank God the rest of my family understands my trauma and sees why I never want to hear her voice again. I made a comment on Reddit saying letting a dog lick your mouth is gross and people got mad. The most memorable response was your pets must have never really loved you. Because I don't let them lick my mouth. I didn't even think it was that hot of a take, but I guess people take swapping saliva with their pets very seriously. Or being 5'9". Someone at work mentioned me being tall for a woman and I said that 5'9" isn't super tall and they called me a liar and got pissed at me because obviously I was at least 6 feet tall because he was 5'11" and I'm taller than him. Buddy, I know how tall I am and it ain't 6 feet. Being introvert. Got a lot of hate for that.